Are you doing it in the main room?
No, in the new channel that I created called Key to Success.
That's beautiful. All right.
All right, guys. First thing we gotta talk about. All right, so my name TJ, the founder of United Traders, and today we're gonna cover the key aspects that's required to trade. Main thing we're gonna talk about today is pretty much the trading mentality, what's required mentally to, I guess, make good trades and be successful as a career choice. So the vision statement's already there. You guys already know all about it. Let me just post up these slides quickly. So as you guys know, we're going to be covering a lot of different subjects, just not in this video alone. There's going to be a lot more topics in the next, I don't know, like a couple weeks or so. All right, so the topics we're going to cover today is being real, your attitude, what you get in, you get out. Well, you get what you put in, I guess. This is totally your choice. The more you learn, the more you earn. The gutter principle and the learning curve. Man, this copy and pasting is so hard. All right, so first thing, don't get caught into marketing gimmicks. First thing you really gotta wonder is, if they're making so much money, why do they need your money? There are gurus that'll try and tell you that they have automated system and it provides like 80% win rate. And it might work for him. It might be true. His strategy might work for him, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be working for you. And you can never be the best copycat of anyone's strategy. The best thing with our group is we have so many different traders that have different strategies, and you can pretty much pick the, I guess, aspects of it that you like, and certain aspects you don't like, you can just forget about it, and you can create your own strategy. So Bloom covered this on an earlier topic, and it's pretty much the onboarding course, which we'll post a link on soon. And it pretty much tells you, you should follow certain traders. You should follow how they trade. You should literally just jot down all their trades, their entries, their exits, and wonder why they got in at a certain time and why they left the trade. That way, you can really reverse engineer their strategy and try and effectively, implement it into your own. Now, there's going to be lifestyle marketing, the guys that are driving Lambos and telling you how great life is because if you join their group and whatnot. So stay away from those guys. They're going to try and sell you on the idea that you can get rich quickly. This is not the career for that. This is going to take a lot more time than you ever thought. And more importantly, it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take so many hours of studying. And all of these gurus, they'll try and show off their cars, but the cars can be leased, the houses can be rented, and vacations are just that. They're a break from reality where people tend to spend more money, right? Now, pump chats. Okay, so I do have a little, I don't know, I don't really like them. I don't really like the fact that people get charged to, pump low float penny stock because it doesn't take a genius to know. If you have like 3,000 members and everyone puts in $1,000, then, that's 3 million volume on a dollar ticker with 1.5 million float. That's a huge price action. Like we could probably be looking at like 100% runner, right? Ultimately, you really don't want to go along with them just because if you're the last one in, you're probably going to get stuck holding a bag. And more importantly, the moment that they say they scaled out, then it's done. Like the members that aren't great traders, they're just following the calls. They'll be like, hey, I'm up. I'm going to take my profits as well. And again, you're not going to learn anything. You guys can follow our calls and we're trying to provide calls so you guys can learn from it and really. Hi. And yeah, anyways, you can always learn from our calls and you can take our calls and we'll tell you when to get in and when to get out when we think there's some weakness on the trade. But ultimately, you're not going to learn by just following our calls. It's honestly better that you guys open the charts up, have your indicators that you trust, and just follow along with the trades and only follow the calls that you are bullish on. If you look at a chart and you're like, oh my God, this is a good entry, my indicators are all telling me it's a good buy area, then sure, get into that trade, trade it. If you're looking at a trade and it's not making sense to you and you're like, I don't know why they're buying it over here, don't touch it. Simple as that. All right, so you guys got to be motivated every single day. Every trader needs grit to be a successful trader in this market. You will get some wins, you will get some losses, but ultimately, it's your determination that is going to really factor into your good longevity in this field. Do not let the wins get to your head. some traders just completely forget their strategy or common sense as soon as they have their big win. They'll start with $1,000 and they made 150% runner, and now they're just going all in on the next trade, and it could potentially lose them 50, 60%. And they're thinking that, oh, I can make it back. But realistically, you're just taking one step forward and two steps back. So yeah, never let the wins get to your head, and never let the losses get to your head. Now, this is the hard part, especially if you have, let's say, 1, 2, or 3 to like 4 consecutive losses, which does happen. We can't predict when the losses are going to hit, and sometimes it's going to be like a dry spell. We're going to get losses after losses, and it is emotionally draining. Like, especially when you put in so much time, so much effort into your trades, and everything was going right, and then all of a sudden just nothing makes sense anymore. You're taking a loss, your account's going down, and you're contemplating going back to work. You have to be a machine. So this ties in with your trading strategy. I really want you guys to find a strategy that works for you. And remember this, there's always multiple strategies that we employ. Every great trader has multiple strategies, depending on the volume, depending on the news, depending on the other external factors, even their indicators, right? Like, you'll see a knife catch. For us, a knife catch is when the RSI is just stupidly low and the stock just tanked, and we know that it's going to at least recover a couple points. Now, be realistic. This is very important. Jesse Livermore, who is I guess a really prominent trader, hedge fund owner. He said, it took me 5 years to learn to play the game intelligently enough to make big money when I was right. So I really want you guys to scale down your sizes. I know everyone needs to make money. I get it. That's the whole point of us being here and trying to make money. It's to, put food on the table and hopefully have a really good lifestyle, maybe buy those Lambos that people are talking about. But realistically, it takes time, and nothing comes easy. It's going to take so much practice. And the biggest thing is, you don't want to blow your account yet, okay? You don't. Not yet, actually. Don't ever blow your account. But honestly, don't blow your account. Just scale down. If you have to trade with 10 shares, 1 share, it doesn't really matter. As long as you're doing the trades, you're getting comfortable with your platform, you understand how to get in and out of a stock quickly, and more importantly, you know when to get in, and you can make that split-second decision, and hopefully that decision is right. And if it isn't right, review your journal, go back to the chart and see what went wrong. The beauty of TOS is we have on demand, so you can always go back and really replay that trade that you took and analyze where you went right and where you did something wrong. And just do more of what you're doing right and less of what you're doing wrong. Seems simple in principle. All right, so the next thing is you get what you put in. So there's no better resource than Google, really. Like, if you're confused, if you don't know something that we're saying, like a terminology, just Google it. And even if you're reading a book, if we're telling you about, tape reading or, different kinds of, I guess, strategies, just Google it. Trust me, Google is your friend. And honestly, you can learn anything just by Googling it. Then if you have any other questions, you can always come to us and we can help you. So the 10,000 hour rule. Now, this rule is more of like a principle, right? So it states that if you put 10,000 hours into anything that you do, you will be successful. So let's say, like, if you're a new trader, before you even put a single dollar into trading, I want you guys to put at least like 3,000 hours into studying, into learning as much as you can before you risk your money. Trust me, you don't want to blow your account just yet. Now, this is your choice, right? Like, if you look at the, I guess, the math over here, let's say the magic number is 3,000, right? Do you want to spend 5 years learning at 2 hours a day, or do you want to put in 5 hours of studying and cut it down to 2 years, right? So it's truly based on you and it's your choice. This is your job. This is your business. How will you run it? That's the biggest thing. Are you going to put your blood, sweat, and tears into this, or are you just going to wait for someone to hand you a few calls and pray that it works out? Because ultimately, I haven't seen much success in just taking people's call blindly and not actually even learning from it. You really got to keep a trading journal and really, um, I guess, master your trade. Oh, and there's more than one way to trade. So this is very important, right? We could be trading the same trade, but we can be employing so many different strategies. And you'll see that like Vegas is really good at holding those stocks. And I know that's her strategy. And, when if she asked me if I should sell, today I was like, no, you shouldn't. Because our strategy was scalping. We're just scalping the moves in and out, pretty much playing it like the Elliott wave, right? Now, her strategy is a lot different. And on her strategy, she just buys it and holds it until it looks extremely weak and ready to sell or it hits her profit targets. And the emotional journey. Okay, so this is a great picture that I found, and it really ties into trading. And I still remember when I first started. It is an emotional roller coaster, and a lot of people get excited. They might have beginner's luck, and they're up on an account, and then they completely blow it. And they work harder, they study harder, they study more, and it gets to the point where it's like, oh shit, I just like blew most of my money. My girlfriend's about to leave me. My parents are thinking, what the hell are you doing with my life? Maybe I should have taken that job offer 2 weeks ago. And at that point is when a lot of people really quit. They literally just, give up. Now, this is the worst time statistically to ever give up. Usually, the point where people are about to break, that is the point where you need to find your strength. And we're here for that. We're not just here just to give you trades and teach you how to trade. But if you're just feeling wrecked, if you're like, guys, I'm not getting this, this is a bad week for me, just talk to us. We'll help you out. We're traders. We've been through the same emotional roller coaster that you have. So we're in a good position to really help you guys out. Let me just get the next slide. All right, so this is a topic I really want to cover. So, the gutter principle. How much in the gutter do you have to be before you're willing to say that I will do anything? Right? The sad reality is that most of us, like, we have different risk tolerance levels, we have different emotional, levels, I guess. The sad reality is that in our minds, we sometimes need to take a huge loss before we can convince ourselves and really mean it when we say I will do anything, right? Now, that's what I consider tuition. Okay, a lot of people say, "Oh, taking a loss is tuition." I really don't agree with that concept. The only tuition you have to pay is your overhead. Your internet, your laptops, and broker fees, and any subscription that you really have. Big losses are always optional, right? So you'll see me. I don't like to take a loss over 5%, right? On my day trades, 5%, I cap it, right? Sometimes I'll let it run a little bit. If I think it's going to recover, I'll cancel my stop loss and try and average down. When I'm doing swing trades, my stop losses are more of a, just so it doesn't tank kind of situation. So I'll have like a 20 to 15 to sometimes 10% stop loss, depending on the ticker and the volatility of that trade. So always remember, big losses are optional. Small losses are okay, right? So this is how I look at it. If I had $1,000 in a trade, right, and I risk $50 of it, I'm not going to be crying, right? And if I did 4 trades in a row and I lost $50, still I'm not going to be crying. But what I will be crying about is if I take one loss on a trade and it went down 200%, that's a big blow on your account, right? So I look at it this way. Instead of taking a big blow on a trade, why not just take smaller losses, right? Smaller losses doesn't affect you as much. And more importantly, you can recover it easier. The moment that you're taking a loss like 50%, the only thing going through your head is, how am I going to make this money back? And the worst thing that, we do is we try and make that money back in 1 trade or 2 trades, right? Realistically, take like if you're down, always take it slower, size down, build your confidence again, and forget about how much you have to make back just for a week or two, until you get your confidence back, until you're back on your mojo. Then you can start tackling away that losses. So also another thing, result oriented versus process oriented. Okay, so in society, we always believe that like everything we're doing is result oriented, right? Like, I do this, I get this in return, I could be a farmer. I farm this, I go to the market, I sell this, I make money, right? I scratch your back, you scratch my back, that kind of shit. So that's how we're like, I guess, programmed, right? So we're, I guess, taught to be result oriented. Like we need an A+ on our SAT paper just for us to be like, hey, we're doing good. Truthfully, that's the worst measure of success, and you really want to be more process oriented or result oriented, right? Sorry, process oriented. Let me just post this picture up for you guys. I gotta find the picture. Give me a second. There you go. So you'll notice one thing about me, Bloom, anyone actually, like the seasoned traders, even if we win on a trade, but it was just like, it was just like dumb luck, some volume just came in, we're still going to be questioning our trade, right? And let's say, we took a loss on a trade, right? We look at it this way. Did I do everything right? Was there something unexpected that happened that was out of my control, which will happen? Because guys, we have no control over what the market's going to do, and not even in a minute, not even in like an hour, right? So realistically, I look at losses like this. Is it a loss that I could have avoided? If it isn't, then I'm not going to really worry about it. That happens. That's just the environment we work in. Now, if it's a loss that I could have avoided, and maybe it was just I rushed into a trade, and that usually happens with me. I rush into a trade, and I'm like, damn it, now I have to average, and that's my mistake. That was completely on me, and that's something that I would look back and really fix. So the reality for trading, right? You start with your money. You sometimes get beginner's luck. It goes up. and it gradually moves down. You get small wins, and you're like, all right, I'm making it back. And then something bad happens, goes all the way back down. And then you have this break even plateau kind of period where your money isn't growing, but you're getting smarter, you're doing better trades, you're getting more confident. And over time, you'll notice that your trading and the earnings from your trading is going to get higher, right? So just give it time. Don't try and rush things. First, build your skill sets, and everything else will come. I like to call this the learning curve. So set realistic expectations and timeline. If this was easy, guys, everyone would be doing it, honestly. And if everyone was doing it, then the spreads will be horrible. It will be making like AMD kind of money. The ticker would move maybe like 20 cents in a day, right? Truthfully, like this is one of the hardest fields. This is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. And it's rewarding. It's challenging. Every day is different. It's never a boring day. And just when you get bored, something always comes up. So really amazing job we have here. So we're going to go into the 10,000 hour rule. So the principle states that it's pretty much 10,000 hours of deliberate practice, right? So I did some digging into this, and I found that there was a study that was done in Princeton, right? And the researchers found that games, right? Because this is honestly, technically kind of like a game, except we have real rewards, right? And they found that in games, practice made a 26% difference, right? 26%. Imagine that. That's 26% of your account size growing, just moving up just by, really tapping into your studying and practicing and learning, right? So this is why I'm telling you guys, just use small shares. I don't care if it's 1 share. I don't care if it's 10 shares, whatever it is, right? Use a small amount of shares and practice. And you'll need to practice real time. This is something that paper trading can do. Paper trading cannot help you with this trading psychology. So it's probably better for you to find a broker that gives you like, 1 cent a share or 2 cent or 0.5 cents a share trading. I think IB offers it. I know for Canadians, Questrade does it. And that way you'll actually be able to practice in real time with real executions, right? And nothing you're going to learn is a waste of time. Like, this is very important for you guys to know that there's so much things that I can learn. There's so many elements to trading, and there's not one thing that I find I should weigh heavier than the others. There's certain circumstances where a certain amount of studying that I did on the fundamental side really impacted my trades, 6 months down the road, right? So as much information as you can absorb it. And my girlfriend was telling me this, that apparently our brains can hold 3 times the information Wikipedia can. So you really have no excuse for not studying as much as you can. And I always looked at issues like this, like if I can improve 1% on anything, and honestly, most of these improvements you're going to make in trading, it's going to be like a 1% difference, right? But if you do 10 of those things, that's a 10% difference overall, right? It's a 10% increase for you now. So on a $1,000 account, okay, 10% is not a lot, but 10 years down the road, when you're dealing with $1 million account, that 10% is everything, right? And that's pretty much everything I just wanted to cover. So main story, just I want you guys to really focus on the learning aspect. Okay, we're making calls because we're trying to make money ourselves, right? And we don't mind you guys getting in on our trades. We don't mind sharing it, and every single trade that we take, we alert it to you guys, right? So please don't just take our calls. I want you guys to do the studying on the back end, because the back end is where all the work is done. It's not just, trading the 15 minutes that you're actually in a trade. It's the countless hours that you're going to be honing your skills and building your trading journal. That's what really matters. One good I think, picture that I really want to share with you guys. Let me just find it. All right, this one. I really want you guys to print this out, and I want you guys to show this to us. Literally, I am down to help anyone that helps themselves, okay? But if I'm supposed to help you, you better put in twice as much effort as I'm putting in, right? Because I'm going to give you my 100% effort. I can guarantee you that. So I need you guys to put your 200% into it. So I want you to keep a trading journal. Very important. If you, anyone, it doesn't matter who it is, if you guys have a trading journal with over 20 trades and you have a chart next to it, okay? I mean, a 1 minute chart. If you're trading on if you're day trading, use a 1 minute chart. If you're swing trading, use a 5 minute chart on a, whatever time frame that you're swing trading. And I want you guys to highlight your entries and exits. And make sure the charts also show the volume. You could use RSI, but whatever indicator you like. I don't mind. And I'll go through your journal with you, and I'll literally help you in a manner that a lot of people don't really do, right? Like while I was working at the bank, I had to keep a journal every day, okay? My compliance officer would be down my butt if I really didn't, right? And that trading journal was life. That thing really made the biggest impact over everything else. I can study everything. I can sit around and watch YouTube videos. I can sit around and read books. But the biggest change that I've ever seen was my journals. That journal, I have handwritten journals because I'm a visual learner. I noticed in grade 3, I used to cheat on my tests and stuff. And I used to have one of those cheat notes. And I noticed by just writing those cheat notes in that I practically memorized it. So for me, writing always works. And I just, I have it imprinted in my mind. And going back to this Demon Finder, I want you to track 10 of your trades. And I want you to check off what you did wrong on all of those trades. There's going to be something, right? And if you don't have one, then great. You don't need us. You're doing good. But most likely, even I make mistakes, guys. I make the same mistakes all over again. I already know which mistakes I always buy. It's either I buy too early, I sell too early, which I always do, or I get stopped out a bit too early. But honestly, I usually don't get stopped out anymore. So I think I worked that one out. Or I don't wait for the trade to bottom out. I sometimes buy it while it's tanking, and then it drops another 50 cents. But yeah, that's about it. All right, I hope that helps. Let's end this quickly. Wait. Do you guys have any questions?
They're going in text.
So I know Bloom's doing his own lessons, which you guys really have to follow. But the first one I'm doing was on personal finance, which is very important. Then trading is a lifestyle, which is the one I covered. I will be doing a lesson on risk management, portfolio management, trading psychology, and pretty much setting yourself up for success, which is going to cover